Alright, what's going on everyone? It's Picky Choco, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about some exciting new news. So BOSACIUS or BOSACIUS, whatever you may call him, so a new information about him and also when he might be introduced with a key role in the game, updated Ayato and 2.6 RERUNS Info with some new release dates and possible skills, and some important warnings or to-do things before Chasm 2.6. So tons of new news, but before we get into that, I'd just like to ask if you want to enter the 2 blessings giveaway. It's the topmost link in the description, and make sure to subscribe so that you won't miss on any latest news and stuff related to Genshin like this. So let's begin by firstly talking about Ayato and the 2.6 rerun. So following are the latest screenshots, there are speculations from uncles and the community members where we've tried to speculate and discuss this on a logical basis. So for the 2.6 reruns, the connecting dots may be a relation and a significant time gap. Now we know what Hoyoverse did in the past, release the characters in such a way that they connect with the festival, the audience, culture, ultimately speeding up the sales and hype of a character. Right now in 2.6, there does not seem to be an impacting festival, so now the rerun factor shifts to relation and time gap. As for relation, it's pretty clear. For Ayato, Ayaka's rerun sounds reasonable because it's been a pretty long time and Ayaka's one of the best DPS units in the cryo, which you wouldn't regret building. Now for the time gap, here's the thing. After a not so expected sales on the Yaimiko banner, Hoyoverse has been closely observing the community where the majority has voted for Kazuha instead of Venti, and it's not a doubt that Ayato is going to be one of the best characters. So for this reason, there may be a Venti rerun instead of Kazuha, because then players will get a time to summon for Kazuha, which will indeed boost MiHoYo's sales in the future. And additionally, it's been more than 1 year for Venti, so for these two reasons, the community thinks there's an 80% chance for an Ayaka and Venti rerun to happen in 2.6. Now moving on to Ayato, according to latest speculations, his character model might have been reworked again, which probably might have changed the stacking attribute. Now I'm not sure of this, but personally, I look at Ayato as a high damage dealing sub DPS or support unit. Now talking about the stacking effect and attributes, what players think is, instead of making Ayato a typical Hydro user whose stacking makes a single hit giving a massive damage, why not stack those effects that stays on field dealing continuous damage, making Ayato's presence super important. And for this to happen, apart from stacking, his weapon and their stacks might be an important factor in making him an all-round power creep. So people are having high hopes for Ayato, and we all hope it really turns out good. So now moving on to BOSACIUS, upon hopping onto some forums and some flashbacks, found some interesting info. So BOSACIUS is said to be none other than the Electro Yaksha himself, oh my god, who basically disappeared because of mysterious reasons, and it's now speculated that he might be visible in some form in the chasm. Double excitement. So how did he end up here? So basically, according to the uncles and Zhongli, when he spawned the Yakshas for the protection, after a brief time, because of their slaying and their karmic debt, some of them either went mad killing each other, while BOSACIUS just departed Liyue after it established peace, but Atlas remained there performing Zhongli's duties, who's currently known as Zhao to everyone. Now regarding his appearance in chasm, it's pretty obvious that if this Electro Yaksha would have fled to other region than Liyue, then the respective archons of that region would have revolted and slain him pretty easily. So to avoid that, chasm was his best choice, because do note that Azhdaha, who after the Archon War was resting there where even Zhongli did not meddle, so it would be a perfect place for him to hide without anyone noticing it, not even the Geo Archon. And now that Azhdaha is not in chasm, he's pretty much free to roam anywhere, and because Yakshas cannot die, it's highly speculated that he might be alive. I mean, that's one hell of a crazy thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if they show some sort of a ghost or even the Electro Yaksha himself, or a weapon, or mostly an artifact set devoted to him, because do remember that he was the very first and the most strongest of the Yakshas who even had the ability to slay Zhao himself. So it will be very interesting to watch how things turn up in the future storyline, as his and Zhao's or Zhongli's reunion would be a perfect story. Now moving on to some 2.5 and 2.6 related news that was recently speculated as a warning. So after assuming a big future lineup and some summoning techniques, it is clear that more lucrative options will be provided to the players along with some budget-friendly options. So it is highly suggested for all the players to keep saving and just summoning for the characters that they want and have them on their wish list, as it's obvious that new characters like Dendro, Baizu, Yao Yao, Kolei, Lay, Varka, Elise, Haizu, Kuki, and Scaramouche might be introduced sooner or later, and most importantly from all of this, budget planning of Primogems, especially from the F2Ps, and most importantly the artifact planning should be considered as a top priority, because say it or not, after 2.5 there will be a large pool of characters and some good choices, so in order to not miss on them, keep saving and do maintain a balance to not get burnt out. So overall I'm very excited and looking forward for 2.6, especially Ayato and the Electro Yaksha. So that's basically it for today's video. Just thought I'll update you all on some latest news and an exciting reveal of the Electro Yaksha. So I hope this video helped, so make sure to subscribe so that you won't miss on any latest news and stuff like this. As always, I'll see you all in the next video with some interesting new news. Until then, stay safe and stay picky.